it's time to start editing. So let's look at this interface. We have a various selection of windows, and when they're selected we get this orange outline to show that each one is active. This one here is where we import all our footage and all our assets which we use in our project. This is called the source monitor, where we'll audition and preview our footage. This is the program monitor, where our final edit is displayed. Down here is where most of the work happens. This is our timeline. This is where we build our sequence of images which will play back along this timeline here, and as you can see it gets displayed, or as you will see, it gets displayed in this program monitor here. There are other palettes and areas which contain other effects and tools which you can use, but these are the main ones we're going to be using. Okay, let's start by importing some footage. So I'm going to go and right click in my project window and I'm going to go to import, or I could go to file, import and select from there. But I like to right click, import, and it's going to take us to our last import place, but let's find our project which is on our drive. Premiere Pro projects, cup of tea, and there's our footage. Let me look at, well, all the clips there, but I wish to import all of them, so I could select them all and click open, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to show you a quick way of doing this. I'm just going to go to our folder structure here where it says footage, and I'm going to tell it to import the folder. And what it'll do for us is create a bin. So they're not called folders once they're in here. It's a footage bin, and inside there is where all our clips are. So we've got all our footage into our project ready to be used. Right, let's start previewing and looking at some of this footage. I'm going to double click a piece of a file, and it's going to load it into our source monitor over here, and we can almost see this is like being an audition window. Let's have a play of a video and see what happens. There's me in my kitchen. I'm taking my cup, I'm putting it in my cupboard, and I'm about to start my little making a cup of tea video. There we go, I've got the cup. There we go, so there's a sequence of shots there. What I want to do with this window here is decide which piece of footage I want to use. So I want to really take it from the point where just before I reach into the cupboard. So at this point I'm going to mark an in point. I'm going to let it play, and I'm going to cut this shot as soon as I pick the kettle up and walk away. There, just left the shot, and at that point I'm going to mark my out point. That is the piece of footage I want to use in my edit. So I've done a little audition, I've found where I want my clip to start, where I want it to end. I'm going to now drag this by clicking out window and put it on my timeline down here. Let's play that footage. I can hit a space bar, or I can use the play button over here. Let's save time and let's use our left hand, hit the space bar. What's happening now, it's playing back footage on our timeline and it's showing us it in our program monitor. There we go. We've made our first little editing piece. Let's look at our second shot. Here we go, this is what I'm after. It's a shot, well let's play it, of the kettle coming into the shot and the kettle being filled up. Let's look at the piece I want to use here. I want it to start from just as the red reflection starts to show in the tap. You see it there. So that is in my in point. And I want to use it all the way to the kettle going out of the shot. There we go. That's my out point. I'm going to click this and drop it next to the other piece on the timeline. You can put things exactly next to each other or what you can do is leave a little gap, right click in the gap, select ripple delete, and it closes the gap for us. Let's look at our edit so far from the beginning. There we go, we put our two clips together nicely and there's some continuity in our shot. What I want to do down here is now look for a close-up shot I have of the water going into the kettle, and it's really hard from this view to see which clip's which. I'd have to re-audition every piece, but there's a little way of helping us. Down here we have various views we can have for our footage, and I want to select this one, which is icon view, and what it does, it changes each of our clips into like a thumbnail, so that way we can quickly see each of our bits of footage. So that is the clip I want. I'm going to double click that, and it's loaded it into my source monitor. There we go. So with that done, I can now find the bit I want to use. Let's go from the tap already on. And I just want 2 seconds of that. So that'll be my out point. That's my in point. I'm going to drag that and put it on the timeline. But look, it's got audio with it, and I don't really want the audio. So let me just rewind on that. I'm going to delete that. All I want is the picture, I don't want the audio. So here we have a couple of options: drag video only, drag audio only. I'm going to drag with video only, so I'm just going to click and drag, and I'm going to place that on my timeline. I'm going to place it just above my clip of the kettle being filled up. Let's have a quick look and see what happens. I'm going to press the spacebar to play. Great, so what it's done, it's made it visually more interesting. From that shot, it jumps straight up, and it cuts back just as the tap turns off. We can move this to be positioned wherever we wish by just clicking on it and dragging it side to side. The lesson to be learnt here is our timeline indicator looks downwards. So any layer which is upmost, it will see first, and it will then block the layer beneath. What you're going to be doing the rest of this session is looking at the footage which we've imported, either in thumbnail icon view or as in list view, and you're going to be building an edit of making a cup of tea. All the clips are here. We see milk being put in, sugar being put in, the kettle finishing boiling, kettle being turned on. I want you to look through this footage and assemble the clips you need on the timeline in the correct order, and you will trim or cut the clips so that way we have continuity. Good luck. I'll come back to you after you finish this lesson.